Thank you to Patrick Green and Kim and Avalon for hosting, and to the Orlando writing community for being so hospitable. I'm going to read a little bit from a book I wrote that is a memoir about my experience in the troubled teen industry. When I was 13, I was kidnapped out of Las Vegas airport, put in a mental institution in St. George, Utah, and then shipped to a behavior modification program in Upolu, Western Samoa, where I spent 2 years in a prison camp. The troubled teen industry is a billion-dollar network of privatized prison camps for kids where, for the cost of an Ivy League education, you too can outsource your child abuse. And their programs are run by people like Mitt Romney. And so, I tried to choose some. The book obviously is a bit of a bummer, so I tried to choose some funny parts. I'm going to give you the choice. You can choose between, to start, intentionally contracting pink eye so that I can get out of mandatory torture exercise, or finding out what the... I'm just going to say butt stuff. Is that cool? We're going to get weird. It's going to get a little gross. So your call. Front of the back. Where do we start?
Door number 2?
Yeah. All right.
Let's do it.
I just read that, you know what? I was terrified about it. I just did this at a humor panel at a conference in Flagstaff, and it went over really well. So hopefully it will here too. All right. It hurt this morning when I was taking a shit. I thought maybe it was just a really big shit, but afterward, when I got back to the school folly and sat down to work on my history folder, it still hurt. Sitting down hurt. Not as bad as shitting, but still pretty bad. Sole, me fa algo le falece. You just go. I asked to go to the bathroom. They tell me I can't go because I just went. I try to explain, but they're not having it, so I have to wait for lunch. When your family leader, fathers and level 4s expect you to do their job for them and blame you when anything goes wrong. In the bathroom at lunch, I'm gingerly touching my butthole with one finger. There's a lump, a big one, that feels both hard and soft at the same time. When I'm not touching it, it throbs and itches. When I itch it or poke it, I light up with pain. It feels like I'm shitting a rock, a small but incredibly real and painful stone. I wonder if I could have swallowed a rock at any point. I try to pass it, except it won't come out. I poke some more, wincing at the pain, but determined to learn what the hell is wrong. It's not inside, like not in the plumbing, but rather inside the skin of. And suddenly I realize what's happening. I have a boil on my asshole. What the fuck, Samoa? Because there are no mirrors here, I can't see whether or not it's poppable. Can't pop it myself, and I really don't want to ask anyone to look, but I don't have any other way to check this thing out. I explained the situation to Nick and Justin. I asked for their help. They don't hesitate. That's how close we are. How desensitized. Yeah, dude, let's see it. Yeah, bend over, boil butt. Oh, dude, it's huge. Jesus, man, why is it blue? That's more of a purple. Yeah, man, I don't think it's a boil. I wouldn't try to pop that if I were you. Really? What does it look like? It looks like you've got a blueberry growing out of your ass. A grape? It's not big enough to be a grape. Well, it's bigger than a blueberry, but it's not purple. Yeah, it is, man. Look at it from this light. I'm still bent over, my boxers around my ankle, my skirt flipped up, spreading my ass cheeks. Okay, guys, whatever. What do you think it could be? Herpes? Herpes? How would I get ass herpes? Well, how do you think? Dude, no! Well, how else do you explain ass herpes? I had a friend who got herpes on his neck and shoulder from wrestling with a dude. No, for real. You could have got it from a toilet seat. Are we sure it's herpes? I pull my boxers and my skirt back down. No, but we're not sure. You need to see the nurse, dude. Really? Like I have to show the nurse my asshole? Yeah, looks like it. Unless you want that thing getting worse or spreading. So I'm bent over in the nurse's folly, spreading my ass cheeks, and she bends down and looks, then starts swearing in Samoan and calling in other people, fathers, the cooks, to come in and look. They're all speaking in Samoan, too fast for me to understand, laughing, making the pain sympathy face where you squint your eyes and your mouth into an O, and then she says in English, "Tomorrow morning, doctor run." They never respond so quickly to any medical condition. The nurses here aren't even nurses, they're just Samoan ladies. Getting a doctor run right away is unheard of. Even the kid with TB and the centipede bite swollen to the size of a baseball is still walking around the beach, so I'm worried it's something really bad. Should I be worried? Is it serious? She just shrugs and says, "Wait and see the doctor. Tomorrow morning we go." thrombosed hemorrhoid. The doctor takes one cursory glance at my butthole and, with no hesitation and every confidence, gives me a diagnosis that I thought only applied to women who've had kids and very old men whose butts are falling out. A hemorrhoid is a swollen or inflamed vein in the lower part of the rectum or anus. An external hemorrhoid is when one of these is prolapsed, pushed through the thin wall lining the rectum or anus to protrude outside the anal sphincter. When an external hemorrhoid becomes irritated, it can clot and become hard, become thrombosed. This being the most painful type of hemorrhoid and the one I happen to have. Of course, I had no idea what this thing is. Hemorrhoids are just an old people word that means pain in the ass, something kids aren't supposed to know about. I know they have to do with the butt, and I know that's why Preparation H is funny, but that's about it. Now I'm 14 years old, and I have hemorrhoids. No 14-year-old should have to know what a hemorrhoid actually is, let alone have them. I ask how I got them, and he says, A, from lifting something heavy, B, from strenuous exercise, or C, from pushing too hard during bowel movements. Read, A, supply runs where we carry 50-pound bags of sugar and rice down the hill. B, skills where we are tortured with exercise on a daily basis. C, explosive diarrhea. The Paradise Cove rectal trifecta. God, I hate this place. I ask, will it get better? Will it go away on its own? He explains that with medicine, the swelling will go down, the flare-up will subside, but that I may have hemorrhoids for the rest of my life unless I get surgery, which might not work. Can you do the surgery here? He laughs. No, very expensive, not really necessary, just use the medicine. He writes me a prescription and hands it to the nurse. Back at the beach, before she gives me the medicine, the nurse has me wash first with hot water, which is a serious treat because the cook will only boil me a small pot, so I only get to wash my hands in the affected area. Then the nurse hands me the medicine, pills wrapped in foil blister packs. I take one out and it starts to melt in my hand, as I'm about to put it in my mouth, the nurse laughs and grabs my hand and shakes her head. Wrong hole. She explains what a suppository is. You have to be fucking kidding me. I have to shove this horse pill up and then let it melt, and I am going to burn this country to the ground. That's it. So I chose these sections because they highlight, you might pick up on some of the interesting vocabulary. Family was what we called a group of boys. Father was a staff member who was presiding over that group. And I chose these sections because they kind of, they're humorous, but they also show what the conditions were like there. So this one is, you learn skills is like exercise, but it's just meant to hurt you. And so at this point I had been there about 8 months, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And kids were getting sick and going on sick bed, and sick bed was a way you didn't have to go to torture. So I decided I was going to go on sick bed. On level 1, you're never supposed to be more than 10 feet from staff, but on level 2, as long as you're within eyesight of a father, or level 4, and they've given you permission to walk wherever you're going, you're good to go. I'm walking from the bathrooms back to Honor Family Folly on the other side of the beach when I bump into Dave. Dave, whom I know from Love Family. Dave, whose eyes are swollen and red and crusty with yellow goo. Dude, we shouldn't even be talking beyond this, but I risk it. How are you? Surviving? You? Same? I caught pink eye. I'm on sickbed. Yeah, dude, I can tell. Listen, rub your eye really hard real quick and then shake my hand. Are you serious? You don't want this, dude. It really sucks. No, dude, I do. I really do. I need a fucking break, man. I want sickbed. Seriously? Seriously. Okay, dude, it's your eyes. Dave rubs his eyes and sticks his hand out. I shake it, firm and long. I say, thanks, dude. I owe you. It's whatever. Don't tell anybody, okay? Of course, dude. I'm not stupid. Thanks. I walk back to my folly, rubbing my eyes the whole way. So, break here. The other thing about the place is, if you got caught masturbating, you got locked with your hands and feet behind your back and put in a box for like 3 days at a time. that was called isolation. So I was really just wanting to rub one out. Conjunctivitis is a bacterial or viral infection of the mucous membrane that covers the eye and the inside of the eyelids. I am not thinking about whether or not conjunctivitis is something they are prepared to treat here. I am not thinking about the difference in severity between the viral and bacterial strains of the infection or of which this might be. I am not thinking of the possible scarring or loss of eyesight if the infection persists untreated. I am not thinking of the discomfort the infection will cause. I am thinking only of sickbed. Glorious fucking sickbed. I'm not doing skills for a few days. I'm giving my muscles a break, of wondrous solitude, of giving my mind a break, a vacation, a physical and emotional respite, however brief, from the hell that started in the Las Vegas airport 6 months ago and has persisted in every waking moment since. I am thinking of buying myself a small psychophysical breather. I am thinking of jacking off. The next morning when I wake up, I have a tough time opening my eyes. Not because I am tired, I am, but because something has apparently glued them shut. I show my father, who sends me to the nurse. She puts me on sickbed, but bonus, not just sickbed, quarantine. Normally if you're on sickbed, which pretty much no one ever is because they don't give you sickbed unless you're practically dying, you just roll out your bedroll in your family's folly and take it easy. Everyone walks over you all day, but at least you're lying down. Because the pink eye is so contagious though, they're putting anyone who catches it in the old Thatcher roof follies out on the point where the level 4s normally sleep. And this is pretty much the best thing that could happen, besides, going home. Dude, I'm sorry. They let me walk out by myself. Not like there's anywhere else I could go unless I was planning on swimming to Fiji. They let me take a book and my journal, my bedroll. I even get to room with Dave. Dude, thanks again. Don't mention it. Really, don't. Of course, man. Sorry if I'm ruining your alone time. It's cool. I've been in here for 2 days by myself. I could use some company. I was getting bored. Check it out. He shows me the drawings he's been working on since he's been in here. They're cartoons of naked women, spread eagle. Dude, have you been? Of course I have, dude. Like 40 times, wouldn't you? Well, okay, yeah, but what if someone comes? Dude, I can see anyone walking up way before they can see into the folly. He's right. They're practically giving us permission. What they're giving us is trust, but that trust is entirely misplaced. We would be stupid not to. This is the closest I've come to being alone in 6 months. I'm jealous that Dave had a folly all to himself for 2 days, but I'm not about to waste any time being anything but grateful. The folly is just big enough for both of us to roll out our bedrolls at once, side by side, so privacy is impossible. But in extreme conditions like these, in times that try men's souls, certain decisions must be forgiven. We decide that if we face away from each other, under our respective sheets, and one keeps a lookout while the other, well then it's cool. As long as we're both doing it not both doing it at the same time, it's not weird. I haven't had an orgasm in 6 months. For a teenage boy, that should be calculated in like dog years. And despite the fact that there's another dude lying 2 feet from me, it is epic. Like the eruption that forced this island up from the watery depths. Like the first time where it's so hard it hurts and your whole body gets cold before it starts spasming uncontrollably. And for the first time in 6 months, just for a few moments, I'm not here. The rush of serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin and endorphins is so intense that I forget all of this. And I have no idea where to put my stuff. I didn't plan ahead, so I just come inside my sheets, but I don't care because I'm coming and the world is worth living in again. And then I'm all wet and sticky, but I don't care because I'm basking in it, the afterglow. And Dave says, right dude, how long has it been? And I say, shut up, Dave. Don't talk. Sickbed is awesome. The next morning when I wake up, I can't open my eyes. I'm not saying it's hard to open my eyes, I'm saying I literally cannot. They are completely crusted shut. For a second I panic, but I calm down and spend several minutes slowly, carefully prying them open. The yellow pus is hardened around my eyelashes and I have to carefully tweeze it out with my fingernails, careful not to yank my eyelashes with it, like pulling gum out of your hair slowly until I can open one, then the other, and my God, do they burn. I've got fucking rocks in my eyelids. The treatment we're given for pink eye, medicine of some kind, eye drops. The nurse's prescription, use the ocean. That's it, use the ocean. So after I pry my eyes open, I stumble down to the water and spend what seems like forever flushing my burning eyes with salt water that makes them burn worse until finally it no longer feels like someone stuffed my eye sockets with gravel. The feeling doesn't go away entirely. There's still something distinctly rock-like in my eye, but once I can blink again without manual assistance, I stumble back to sickbed. Totally worth it.